Okay, another machine we're going to be doing some confirmation sew-offs on, and this machine is really cool. Let me tell you why. Number one, this machine was purchased by a customer on my layaway plan. Now, if you're not familiar with my layaway plan, it basically gives a customer the opportunity to put a down payment down on a machine so that that machine is reserved for them, and then over a period of up to 120 days, they can pay off, just like a layaway, they can pay off that machine until the balance is at zero, then it's theirs. So that's what Nickie did out of California. She approached me about really wanting a Spartan and said, you know, I just don't have several extra $100 in my budget that I'm wanting to put up on the machine, but I want the machine. So we discussed the layaway plan. It worked out perfect for her. And you know what the neat thing about the layaway plan is? It is directly in line with the way women and men back in the day used to purchase machines like this. They would take up to 2 years on a payment plan to pay off a machine out of their family budget. They didn't have a luxury budget, which even back then some machines were hundreds of dollars. That was a lot of money to pull out of a family budget. So Singer and other machine makers set up opportunities for consumers to buy the machine and then pay it off over time. And I offer that same option, not up to 2 years, but certainly up to 120 days, which generally makes pretty much any machine that I can offer very affordable. It certainly worked out beautifully for Nickie. And I'm excited to also show you that this Spartan, or this 192K, doesn't have to be in the base to work. I'll zoom in and show you what I have this machine setting on so that you can realize, as I shared with another subscriber, they said, got a Spartan but don't have the base, so I can't use the machine. Yeah, you can. Let me show you what I have underneath the feet on this machine that gives it a nice stable sewing base so that you're able to enjoy the machine out of the base if you choose to do that. So you basically have 2 feet on this side. I've got 2 of these little pedestal type things. They've got a metal base, they've got a felt top. You can pick them up pretty much at any retailer in the section where they have the special little sliders for heavy furniture and that. And you can see that I have another one in the front underneath where the actuator is coming off of the raceway. So the other thing I wanted to promise to do is, a subscriber had asked about threading this machine, which is really quite easy. But I'll go ahead and zoom in real close so that that subscriber can see. Off the top, you're going to be coming off the spool pin on top, coming across the machine up to this first thread guide right here, straight down to the upper tension between the discs, and make sure that you have your presser foot lever up when you're threading the machine so that that thread can go in between those discs all the way. You're going to then be coming underneath this additional thread guide just to the left of the upper tension, and then from there you're going to come straight up to the arm right there. There it is. Then you're going to be going through another thread guide that you can't see in this shot, but it goes right across the faceplate. Then you're going to be going straight down to the needle. If I can find the needle. Hello. You're going to see another thread guide right there. See it right there on top? And then you're going to be coming down to the needle and threading from left to right. The other thing to note is the flat side of the needle needs to be to the right on this Spartan. The same thing is true of its illustrious big brother, or I shouldn't say big brother, I should just say brother, the 99K. And I say illustrious just because as you look at this Spartan, you'll notice that it's lean and mean. You'll notice that it doesn't have a bobbin winder like some of the other 99s. It's got simply a lift and drop. I'll show you here. Kind of lift it up if you want it away from the balance wheel, and you bring it back down when you're winding a bobbin. So very similar to the 301, if you're familiar with that machine, and some of the other 300 series machines. So yeah, I think that's a cool thing. The other thing you'll notice about this machine is, second, where's the light? The Spartan did not come with a light. There are some aftermarket versions, and I actually showed one of them in one of my other videos, but the Spartan by design is lean and mean. It doesn't have a light. It doesn't have that same type of bobbin winder where it has that kickback spring, which notoriously will break. And you'll notice it also is real lean and mean when it comes to decaling. There's not a lot of filigree work on this machine. It's bare bones, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. So that's how the machine is threaded. The other thing I was going to show real quick, and I'll kind of zoom in over by the needle, just so that I can then move right into sew-offs, hopefully. Make sure that that's lined up okay. All right, I'm going to spin my screen around. And I should also mention that this machine, you might be wondering, well, what's the age of this machine? This machine was born on October 9th, 1962. So it's really not that old. It's kind of a youngster, particularly if you think about the machine that I just got done on my workbench and sent off to Ron down in Austin, Texas. That was 103 years old, that 66 Red Eye. This is a baby compared to that, born in 1962. And again, this is the Spartan 192K. It's referred to in both ways, so you're correct in either respect if you say that. The other thing I'm going to show this subscriber that asked for help with her Spartan, we just went through the upper threading, but I also wanted to show that when you drop this bobbin into the bobbin space right here, there it is, you can see the bobbin in there hopefully. When you put it in there, you want to have the thread pointing to the left, just like this. And you're going to just drop it in, and then you're going to bring that thread like this towards the top or the back of the machine, and there's a little groove that it fits in perfectly, and then you'll simply go through the normal steps then of bringing the thread up from the bobbin area. So hopefully that's helpful to that other subscriber that was kind of struggling with her Spartan a little bit. Thank goodness she had a grandson that kind of jumped in and helped out Grandma a little bit, so kudos to that grandson if you happen to watch this video. Okay, a little bit of sewing now. Let's go ahead and do some sew-offs so that we can do a confirmation of this machine being good to go. Now here's some of that garment leather. Again, 100% leather, nothing lightweight about this stuff at all. So we're going to go ahead and slide these 2 layers, which is probably about 8 ounces of leather, underneath the presser foot, and I'm going to get my foot on the foot controller, and we'll see what this little Spartan can do. Shouldn't say little Spartan, because as I've said in other videos, remember this Spartan has a 0.8 amp motor, bigger than the Singer 201-2, bigger than the 1591. So she's a tiny tot, but boy does she have a punch. So here's 2 layers of garment leather, about probably close to 8 ounces. Here we go. Yeah, I know. Show off. Had to do a little spin there, a quick little turn. This is a real easy machine to control, to harness that 0.8 amps of power. Now, you be the judge. If you can see that in the camera, hopefully you can. My little screen is far enough away, it's sometimes hard to tell if I've got this lined up in a way that you can see just how beautiful that stitching is in every respect. the spacing, the formation, it's just spot on. And the lock-in stitch, look at the lock-in. In some ways you can actually see that lock-in even better because of the sheen of that leather. And it's just absolutely spectacular when it comes to the quality of stitching. And you know, what's the point in going through leather or any other material if you can't see a stitch that is a stitch that you would be proud of? And that is definitely a stitch that I would be proud of. Okay, what's our next stitch off? I've talked about this U.S. Army grade canvas, and I wanted to show you the grommets that the shelter half is snapped together with when you're out in the field, freezing your patuki off. It's nice to have these little grommets on here so that you can snap that shelter half shut, or if you put two together you can make a little tent and you're able to stay warm when you're out in the field when those temperatures drop. I'm obviously not going to sew through one of these metal grommets. Tempting, but I won't, because I don't think that Nickie would appreciate that with her machine. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this in half just so that I can keep those grommets a safe distance away from this paint and make sure that I don't scratch up Nickie's paint, or I'm going to definitely be in trouble with her. So 2 layers of this U.S. Army grade canvas. It's the thick of thick. There's nothing lightweight about this stuff whatsoever. And I'm going to go ahead and get it underneath the presser foot. I'm going to try to hold those grommets up a little bit just so that I don't scratch the paint again, and we'll see what this little tiny tot can do with a task as difficult as this. If you've sewn canvas before, you know that this isn't bravado. This stuff has a piercing threshold that's absolutely through the roof. All right, here we go. That is fun. And I didn't even touch the paint. Yay! All right, let's get this snipped off, and I can show off these beautiful stitches. There we go. Pull that back. All right, looks like I sewed through some fluff too or something. Okay, so there's our top stitch right there. Do you believe that? The spacing, the formation, the stitch quality in every respect. I'm going to bring my other light down so you can really see it. It's just absolutely spot on. Look at that. Gorgeous in every way. It's absolutely a beautiful stitch. If we turn it over, we've got an equally beautiful lock-in stitch as well. And again, look at those grommets that we had to sew around. I'm glad that we kind of held those out of the way so that we didn't have an accident with that needle hitting it, or worse yet, me scratching Nickie's paint, which would definitely get me into trouble. So, but that is an absolutely gorgeous stitch in every respect. I'm trying to kind of move it around a little bit so you can see it. All right, so let me throw that to the side. So far we've done garment leather, which was a joke. We've done U.S. Army grade canvas, which was equally easy for this machine. Now we're going to go to some vegetable tan leather. I'm going to hold it like this so you can see it. That vegetable tan leather is unbelievably hard to get through. It's processed in a certain way. It's treated. It's designed to really be resistant to wear, and that makes that piercing threshold absolutely through the roof. We're looking at probably 8 to 10 ounces here, and you can see from the side nothing lightweight about this stuff whatsoever. So I'm going to go ahead and get this underneath the presser foot. Let's see if we can make it through these 2 layers, and I've got to get my arm all the way to the up position. You always want to start with that take-up arm at the highest point, because that is your momentum to get that needle at maximum piercing threshold. All right, so I'm also off camera. I'm going to increase that presser foot pressure just a little bit, and here we go. 2 layers of vegetable tan leather. Here we go. Well, other than me starting slow, the machine was ready. Oh, I love this Spartan. It's like, hey, catch up, buddy, catch up. All right, let me bring this to the highest position again so we're set. Get that underneath. All right. This thread has a little bit of static, and it's giving me a hard time here. All right. So there's our stitch that we just did. I'm going to move those threads down a little bit. There's our stitch that we just did. 2 layers of vegetable tan leather. I'm going to adjust this other light as well so you can really see it. That is absolutely gorgeous. That stitch quality, the stitch formation, the stitch spacing. Holy cow! It's absolutely spot on in every respect. And if you look at it from this angle as well, hopefully you can see just the quality of that stitch. I'm going to shut this other light off. I think I'm getting a little bit of a glare. Maybe that'll make it a little bit easier for you. Yep, that does help. Sometimes too much light is not good. There we go. All right, and our lock-in stitch. Our lock-in stitch is equally spectacular in every respect. The spacing, the formation, it's absolutely spot on. What a beautiful stitch. So what do we go on to next? I mean, we've done everything from full grain leather to vegetable tan leather to U.S. Army grade canvas. Why don't we do a little bit of just good old-fashioned cowhide? And we're not going to go through just one layer of this stuff. We're going to go through 2 layers. So again, you're looking at probably close to 10 ounces of cowhide leather. All right. I'm going to go ahead and get this underneath the presser foot, rev this baby up, and let's see what we can do with this. Cowhide is not anything to be taken for granted. This is tough stuff. So here we go. 2 layers of genuine cowhide. Here we go. Well, blah, 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 blah. Once again, too doggone easy for the Spartan. Spartan's just going, all right, I'll play nice, I'll go through the motions, but I'm really hoping that you're eventually going to give me something that will challenge me. And look at the way it drove that stitch home, too. Genuine cowhide is nothing at all to be taken for granted. Look at that stuff. And the space, the spacing, the stitch quality, the formation, absolutely perfect. We turn it over. Let's see what that lock-in looks like. Absolutely spot on. The lock-in is perfect in every respect. Look at it this way too from the side, so you can kind of see it from that angle also. And I'll be happy to zoom in on these at the end of the video so you can see them up close and personal. As a matter of fact, I'll kind of get them lined up now. Get them lined up and see if I think I dropped a couple on the floor. Hold on a second. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Get all these lined up so you can get a close look at what Nickie's machine is able to do. All right, this canvas is going to be a little bit more of a challenge, but we'll see what we can do with that too. Okay, almost got it, almost got it, almost got it. There we go. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and zoom in so you can see these up close and personal. All right, we're starting on the far end. This is our cowhide. Look at again, 8 to 10 ounces of this stuff. Just drives that thread right into that cowhide. I mean, there's nothing at all hesitating there as far as what it's going to do in piercing that material. Here's our garment leather, which is supposed to be a lot lighter stuff, but you know what? it's got a layer in between too, so there's nothing super easy about sewing this stuff. And look at the stitch quality on that. Absolutely spot on. Then we're going over to this leather, 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 leather. We got this leather as well. This is our vegetable tan leather. Look at that stitch quality. Unbelievable. The spacing, the formation, everything about it is absolutely spot on. And finally, our good old faithful U.S. Army grade canvas. Look at that stuff. 2 layers of that stuff. And the spacing, the formation, the stitch integrity is just absolutely spot on. I wish you could stand by the workbench and actually see it up close and personal even more so, because you know what? It's sometimes hard to get the camera to cooperate as you're looking at these stitches. But even from that distance, you can bring them into view and you can just see this machine is not only as strong as a horse, but boy can it sew. And it can put out a stitch that I would put up against any other machine that there is. Alright, so I'm going to try to get myself back into this shot here. And just say again, I'm absolutely delighted. I'm absolutely delighted that Nickie took advantage of my layaway plan. My layaway plan, again, is interest-free. You can purchase any machine that I have available for sale. Again, my inventory of machines, people sometimes will say, well, tell me what machines you have. Well, how many hours do you have? Because I have over 200 machines, hand-selected, ready to be fully restored, that I haven't even had a chance to restore yet, but they can be restored for customers at their request if they're looking for a particular machine. And any of those machines is eligible for my layaway plan. Again, you have up to 120 days to pay. You put down a deposit on the machine to reserve it exclusively for you so no one else can buy it from underneath you. And once you've made all those payments, which is where Nickie's at now, which is pretty doggone exciting, you then see a video like this, a confirmation video showing what this machine can do, all of these different materials, which are a joke to it basically. And then that machine gets shipped off to you, and that machine is yours and you can enjoy it. And that way, like back in the day, it doesn't have to be a burden financially to your family or to you. You can pay it off over time and then enjoy it for years and years and years and years and years and years without any problem. So again, congratulations, Nickie, on this incredible 192K, this Spartan. And you can see it can sew even if it isn't in that plastic base. So you'll be able to set it up how you want to set it up when you get it out in California. It's going to have the base. I'll mount it in the base to ship it. And then if you decide to put it in the table, put it in the table. If you decide to set it up on a sewing table, kind of like I have it here, you can always do that as well. So thanks, subscribers, for... oh, I should mention one other thing real quick. Another question that came up from a subscriber is, you talked about another Spartan being a certain year. How do you know that that's true? How do you know? There's no serial number over here where Singer always puts their serial number. There's no serial number. So how can you tell me what year it is? Well, Spartan is kind of slick. They didn't put the serial number on the front. Again, it's a simple version. They want it no frills, no bells and whistles. They want it to be clean and lean. And so they decided, I'm going to move all these stitch offs, they decided to put the serial number underneath the front edge in the center on the bottom of the bed, right in the front, on the bottom. If you have a Spartan and someone has said, well, you can never know what year that Spartan is, bull cookies. You tilt it back carefully, and right in the center on the bottom of here, you'll see that stamped serial number from Singer, so that you can look up that machine and know what year it was born, and the month and day as well, if you want to know that. So, all right, so keep watching. I'm not going to do a giveaway in this video, but probably real soon. The next machine to hit my workbench is a Singer 201-2. that's going to be heading out to Dawn out west. So stay tuned, and thanks so much for being a subscriber. And thanks also if you played a part, and you still can play a part, in sending people to my Facebook business page to like it. We're over 1,000 likes now. Not joking, 1,000 likes. And I'm also posting some fun stuff on there. So if you haven't been to the Facebook business page in a while, check it out. All right? Say goodbye to my 192K that's heading to Cali this week.